So here is the quiet truth no one tells you. The most dangerous gifts are the ones that feel like love, the ones wrapped in a smile, the ones handed to you by people who would never think of themselves as harmful. If you walk away remembering only one thing, remember this: you are not being rude when you refuse a gift that slowly poisons you. You are being brave. And bravery is the kindest thing you can offer your own future self. Imagine someone hands you a beautifully wrapped box, ribbon, smile, warm eyes. Inside is a compliment that makes you feel small, or an offer of help that makes you feel weak, or a promise that keeps you awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel so heavy. You take the box. Of course you take it, because saying no feels rude, because you were taught that gifts are always good, because somewhere along the way you learned to trust other people's hands more than your own gut. But here is what most people never realize until years have passed and their energy is gone. Some gifts are traps wrapped in good intentions. Today we are going to look at 6 specific gifts you must never accept from anyone. Not because you are paranoid, not because you need to become cold, but because your peace of mind is worth more than their comfort. And because Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule." Meaning, the crowd will hand you poison and call it medicine. Your job is to know the difference. By the end of these minutes, one thing will become clear. The kindest person in the room is often the one who knows exactly what to refuse. Let us begin. Gift number 1. The gift of your overreacting. Let me paint you a quiet scene. You are sitting at a kitchen table. A friend says something sharp. It stings. You feel your chest tighten, your throat close a little. So you gather your courage and you say, "That hurt me." And they smile, or they sigh, and they say, "Oh, don't be so sensitive. You're overreacting. I was just joking." That is a gift, a terrible one, and it is handed out every single day in offices, in bedrooms, in family dinners. Psychologists call this gaslighting, but in everyday life, it is simply someone refusing to take responsibility for your pain. They hand you a label: too much, too emotional, dramatic, crazy, so they do not have to change, so they can keep talking however they want, and you will keep swallowing your feelings. A 2019 study in the Journal of Trauma and Dissociation found that people who are regularly told they are overreacting begin to lose what is called emotional self-trust. Over time, they literally stop knowing what they feel. They have to ask other people, "Was that okay? Was I right to be sad?" That is not politeness. That is damage. Imagine a husband who every time his wife brings up feeling lonely says, "Here we go again. You always do this." After 5 years, she stops bringing it up. She stops feeling. She becomes quiet and tired, and he says, "See, you're fine now," but she is not fine. She has gone inside. Or a boss who says, "You're being unprofessional" when you ask for basic respect. You start doubting yourself. You apologize for existing. Carl Jung wrote, "The shame is not in feeling the pain. The shame is in pretending you don't feel it." When you accept the gift of your overreacting, you are not accepting feedback. You are accepting a slow erasure of your inner world. Next time someone hands you this gift, do not argue. Do not list all the reasons you are right. Just take a slow breath and say, "I trust my feelings, and my feeling is that this matters to me." You don't have to agree, but you also don't get to decide what I feel. Then stop talking. Let the silence sit. That silence is you refusing the gift. Gift number 2, the gift of "I'll do it for you." This one sounds so helpful. It sounds like love. A colleague offers to finish your report. A parent always pays your bills without asking. A friend constantly solves your problems before you even open your mouth. Don't worry, they say. I've got it. This is the gift of learned helplessness. Psychologist Martin Seligman discovered this in the 1960s. He put dogs in a cage and gave them mild shocks. If the dogs could escape, they learned to jump out. But if they were trapped over and over, they stopped trying. Even when the cage door was opened, they lay down and whimpered. They had learned they were helpless. Now replace the shocks with kindness. When someone always does things for you, your brain learns the same lesson. I cannot. They must. Story 1. A mother does her son's laundry, makes his appointments, calls his school, and solves his arguments. He is 25 years old. He cannot cook an egg. He explodes when a bill arrives. He has no idea how to handle disappointment. She says, I just want to help. But she has built a cage. Story 2. A partner says, you're bad with money, so I'll handle everything. At first it feels like relief. 10 years later, that partner cannot leave. They do not know the passwords. They do not know how much rent costs. They are trapped by kindness. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, the snake that cannot shed its skin perishes. Every time you accept help you do not actually need, you keep an old weak skin on. You stay a child in an adult body. True care is not doing things for you. True care is standing beside you while you do them yourself. It is saying, I believe you can figure this out. I will watch. I will catch you if you fall, but I will not carry you forever. Next time someone reaches to take your load, pause. Ask yourself, can I actually do this? Is it just hard or is it impossible? If you can do it, say this, thank you, but I need to try this myself, even if I make mistakes, especially if I make mistakes, and watch their face. A safe person will smile and step back. A controlling person will get angry or hurt. That anger is not your problem. That is proof you needed the boundary. Gift number 3. The gift of conditional praise. I love you when you behave. You are so smart when you agree with me. You're my favorite child. Today, I am so proud of you. This time. This is what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. It is the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. You never know when the reward will come, so you keep pulling the lever. You keep performing. You keep shrinking yourself to fit whatever mood the other person is in. Think of a boss who only speaks to you warmly when you work late. On normal days, you are invisible, so you work late more and more. You check your phone for a text that says, good job. You live for crumbs. Think of a parent who brags about your grades but ignores your sadness. You learn that achievement gets love. Tears get silence, so you stop crying. You become excellent and empty. Think of a friend who is kind only when you laugh at their jokes. The moment you disagree, the warmth disappears. You start laughing at things that are not funny, just to keep the peace. Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you chase conditional praise, your thoughts become a calculator. What must I be right now to be loved? Should I be small? Should I be funny? Should I agree? Should I achieve? That is not love. That is exhaustion pretending to be connection. Research from Stanford University shows that people raised on conditional praise have higher rates of anxiety and depression in adulthood. They also have a very hard time making decisions, because they are always asking, what do you want me to be, instead of, what do I want? This is what you do instead. The quiet refusal. Refuse this gift by noticing the pattern. Do not announce it. Do not confront. Just stop performing for 1 week. Do your work normally, not extra. Speak your real opinion gently. Say no to one small thing, and watch who stays. The people who only loved your performance will drift away. They might even get angry. That anger is not rejection. That anger is the sound of chains breaking. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Choose to become someone who does not beg for conditional love. Let the love that requires performance go. It was never love. Gift number 4, the gift of urgency. You have to decide now. This offer disappears in 10 minutes. If you really loved me, you wouldn't think twice. Tomorrow will be too late. Urgency is a weapon. Salespeople are trained to use it. So are manipulators in relationships. So are cults. When you are rushed, your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, planning, wise part of your brain, literally shuts down. Blood flows away from logic and toward your survival instincts. You react instead of choose. A famous study by psychologists at Columbia University found that when people are put under artificial time pressure, their ability to spot lies drops by over 40%. They also become more likely to agree to things they later regret. The technical term is cognitive load. Too much pressure, too little time, and you stop thinking clearly. A landlord says, "Sign today or I give the apartment to someone else." You have not even checked for mold, but you sign. A partner says, "Marry me this month or we are done. I cannot wait anymore." You love them. You say yes. 6 months later, you realize you ignored 10 red flags. A salesperson online says, "Only 3 left in stock." You buy a jacket you do not need. It arrives. You never wear it. A friend says, "Loan me the money tonight. I promise I will explain tomorrow." You send it. Tomorrow never comes. The Stoics had a simple rule: never answer a demand that arrives in a panic. Real opportunity does not need a ticking clock. Real love does not expire in 10 minutes. Real safety does not demand immediate obedience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Take a step back, look at things as they are, separate the story from the fact." The fact is, someone is rushing you. The story is, you will lose something if you wait. But waiting is how you see clearly. Practice this phrase until it lives in your bones. I don't make decisions under pressure. I will sleep on it and get back to you tomorrow. Say it calmly. Say it with a small smile. If the person gets angry or tries harder to rush you, that is your answer. Walk away. A safe offer will still be there tomorrow. A trap will not. Gift number 5. The gift of guilt. This one is very, very quiet. It does not shout. It whispers. It sighs. It looks at the floor. Someone says, "After all I've done for you," or "I guess I'm just a terrible parent," or "Fine, do what you want, I'll be alone. It's fine," or "I'd probably be dead without you." Guilt is not love. Guilt is not connection. Guilt is control disguised as suffering. The giver hands you their emotional pain and expects you to carry it. They become the child. They make you the parent. Psychologists call this emotional blackmail. The term was popularized by Dr. Susan Forward. She described 4 types: the punisher, "You'll regret this"; the self-punisher, "I'll hurt myself"; the sufferer, "Look how much pain you're causing"; and the teaser, "If you really loved me, you would." Example 1. A mother sighs heavily every time her adult child visits less often. She does not say a word. She just looks sad. The child feels sick. They start visiting more, even though it drains them. The mother never asked. She just suffered quietly, and the child learned, her sadness is my fault. Example 2. A friend says, "I'd kill myself if you left me." That is not friendship. That is a hostage situation. Research shows that threats of self-harm in relationships are almost always about control, not actual suicidal intent. But the fear is real, and the person receiving that gift often stays for years, trapped by terror. Example 3. A co-worker says, "Must be nice to have boundaries." Some of us have to work late because we care. You feel ashamed. You stay late the next day. They go home on time. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Guilt givers cannot accept themselves. They cannot look at their own loneliness, their own emptiness, their own choices. So they project all of it onto you. They make you responsible for their feelings because managing their own inner world is too painful. But here is the liberation. And I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the cause of anyone else's inner world. You are not the cure. And you are not the manager. You did not make them sad before you were born. You did not break them. You cannot fix them by sacrificing yourself. That is not helping. That is drowning together. Refuse the gift of guilt by staying calm. Do not defend. Do not over-explain. Do not list all the reasons you are not a bad person. Just say, "I hear that you're hurting. That sounds really hard, and I still need to do what is right for me." Then stop. Let them feel their feelings. That is their work, not yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." Guilt only works if you pick it up. Leave it on the table. Walk away slowly. Breathe. Gift number 6. The gift of a sealed future. This is the most dangerous of all, because this one does not hurt today. It hurts 10 years from now. Someone says, "You will never change," or "People like us don't succeed," or "This is just how life is. Get used to it," or "You are not the type," or "That dream is for other people." This gift is a story, a prediction, a cage made of words. When you accept it, you stop trying. You stay small. You call it realism, but it is actually fear wearing glasses. Psychologists call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe you cannot change, your brain stops looking for evidence that you can. It filters everything through the old story. You fail because you expected to fail. And then you say, "See, I was right." A teacher told a 7-year-old boy that he was not college material. That boy is now 43. He works a job he hates. He never applied to a single college. He accepted the gift. A parent said, "No one in our family is happy. We are just sad people." That child grew up, married someone sad, raised sad children. The pattern continued for 3 generations, because one sentence was accepted as truth. A partner said, "You'll never find anyone better than me." So you stayed for 12 years because you believed them. Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But the reverse is also true. If you accept a small story about yourself, you will live a small life. You will bear nothing. You will just survive. The gift of a sealed future is not truth. It is someone else's limit handed to you. They could not climb their own mountain, so they gave you a flat road and called it wisdom. Modern neuroscience has destroyed the sealed future. We now know that the brain changes until the day you die. It is called neuroplasticity. A 90-year-old can learn a new language. A 60-year-old can start a new career. A person with half a brain removed can learn to function fully. There is no sealed future. There is only a closed mind. Refuse this gift by asking one simple question. Write it on your hand if you must. Say it out loud when you hear a sealed prediction. Says who, not aggressively, gently, like a curious child. Says who. Who decided that people like me cannot change? Who wrote that rule? Where is the evidence? And then go find evidence that says otherwise. Find one person who escaped your situation. Read their story. Talk to them. Let their existence be your counter-argument. Marcus Aurelius said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." If you refuse the sealed future, your thoughts become open again, and an open mind is the only mind that can grow. So now we arrive here, at the end of 6 gifts, all of them wrapped in politeness, tradition, kindness, family, love. All of them handed to you by people who would never think of themselves as dangerous. And that is the quiet tragedy. Most harm is not done by monsters. Most harm is done by ordinary people, giving ordinary gifts that slowly shrink the people who receive them. But here is the quiet wisdom that changes everything, and I want you to really hear this. You do not have to accept every gift you are given. Not the guilt, not the urgency, not the story that says you cannot grow, not the praise that depends on your performance, not the help that makes you helpless, not the voice that tells you your feelings are wrong. You can simply not take it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Every time you refuse one of these 6 gifts, you are not rejecting a person. You are protecting your own mind. You are saying, "I matter too. My peace matters. My future matters." And that is not selfish. That is sacred. Carl Jung believed that the second half of life is about becoming who you really are. But you cannot become who you really are if you are still carrying everyone else's wrapped-up poison. You have to put the boxes down. So, here is my question for you, sitting wherever you are right now. Which one of these 6 gifts did you recognize? Which box are you still holding? You do not have to answer me. Answer yourself. And then, quietly, without drama, put it down. If this moment landed somewhere inside you, if you felt a small recognition, a quiet yes, a tightening in your chest as you heard these words, then do not just walk away and forget. Subscribe not because I asked, not because the algorithm wants it. Subscribe because the next video will show you something you need even more. The next video is called 7 Things You Must Start Giving Yourself Immediately. Because refusing bad gifts is only half the battle. The other half is learning to give yourself the ones that heal. Your own forgiveness, your own permission to rest, your own imperfect, unfinished becoming, your own voice saying, "I am allowed to take up space." That video will not tell you to buy anything. It will not give you a 10-step plan. It will sit with you, like this one did, and remind you of what you already know, but forgot. So click the button. Let's do that one together. Same voice, same calm, same quiet revolution. You are not overreacting. You are waking up,